G'day folks, Connor here from CW's Tech Reviews, back with another video, and today we're doing my full review of the newly released Realme C12. Ta-da! Thank you to Realme for sending this out for me to review, really appreciate it. The Realme C12 is the budget offering for 2020 for Realme, coming in at $249, which I think is an amazing price in Aussie dollars for a smartphone. Couple of key standouts here, and we're going to go through those in depth, but here they are up front. One is the battery, 6,000 milliamp hour battery. What? How? That's like, for me, that's like 5 days of battery use. Especially with a low powered device, it's a low end device, it's not running the newest, fastest, most powerful chipset. It's a low-end chipset. So 6,000 milliamp is just going to blitz you all week for battery life. And then the triple camera. I think the triple camera is impressive as well for the specs, for the price. Triple camera, boasting night shot. And we're going to go through that a little bit more in detail now as well. But there's the two main features which I think put it in the must consider basket. You notice how I say that? Must consider basket. Because I'm not going to tell you should buy everything I review. That's ridiculous. But I am going to say to you, consider it. If I think it's worth considering. Let me bring up the spec sheet. Just give me a second. Let me bring up the spec sheet. So this has 6,000 milliamp hour battery crammed into it. So that's going to limit what you can do with your build and design. But I must say, you've got a 6.5 inch display here. Nice design, nice shape. No sharp edges, nice rounded corners. The glass doesn't protrude too far above where the edges of the display are. A nice little bit of branding on the back. And also a little bit of a, you can hear that? No, I'm not about to bust out some tunes, but that's the back has a little bit of texture to it, which I think is quite nice. Fingerprint scanner on the back, triple camera. On the bottom, we are looking at a headphone jack, a speaker, a microphone, and the drawback for the build and design, wait for it, micro USB. So I love Realme, but micro USB, come on. But everything else pretty ridgy-dig, I like it. It looks really good. And on the front, you've got your mini drop display because it's got that little cutout for the camera. And that front-facing camera is a 5 megapixel camera. Look, all in all, for $249, you get a really nice phone, really good to hold. You got a 720p display, which I think looks really good for 720p, and it is Gorilla Glass as well. It feels like a $700-800 phone. Software, I do not mind. You got Android 10 with October security patch. So that's like 2 weeks ago was the October security patch. So performance for a $259 phone is great. You got a fingerprint scanner that works fairly quickly. You got facial recognition, which is always super fast with these Realme phones. It's just like bang, it's open, unlocked. And I'm becoming more and more accustomed to it. Fingerprint scanner is there for me as a backup now because I'm so used to using facial recognition. And actually when I use my Pixel 3, I now miss Face Unlock on my Pixel 3 because I'm so used to using it with phones like the Realme phones. And as you will see through all my other videos, a lot of phones just have it now as standard. So the software I enjoy. It is Realme version 1.0, which is the same as their other devices that were released this year. It is fluid, it is fast, it is slightly customizable. My experience with the software has proven to be reliable. It is reliable software and it's working for me flawlessly. Look, it's only got 3 gigabytes of RAM, so it's not going to be that powerful and it's not going to hold an awful lot of apps in the background. We expect that though. Remember, we're not reviewing a $2,000 phone here, we're reviewing a $250 phone. So 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage. This is running the Helios G35, which is 12 nanometer. And you also got it's octa-core as well, so you know you've got 8 cores running there. You're going to be able to get stuff done. But if you're like, I need the most powerful phone you've got, then you're going to want to look at the Realme X3 Super Zoom, or even the Realme 7 Pro is a good option as well. But if you're looking for that budget device to say, look, You might be in this category where you're a little bit older and you don't really care too much for the tech, but you know you need it to get by. Great buy. Or if you're a little bit younger and you can't afford it, then this is an option as well. Or for anyone else who just doesn't really care about the big end of town when it comes to phone, the Realme C12 is definitely an option for light gaming. Yes, gaming, you can do it, and it's going to be light gaming. So when you download your games, make sure you put them on low graphics settings, then you'll still be able to have fun and play the games with all your homies. Camera time! Rear-facing camera, 13 megapixel with an aperture of f2.2, which isn't too bad. And then we have a 2 megapixel black and white sensor. Good for black and white photography, portraits, like just good for fun if you'd like to be a little bit artistic and experiment a little bit with your photos. And then there's a 2 megapixel depth sensor. And the camera also has some other settings within the app that lets you shoot some macros and some hyperlapse and some slow motion, that sort of thing. One of the highlights of their camera is night shots, where you can actually take good photos in low light and still get something that you're happy to share with your friends. Because there's nothing worse than taking a night shot photo and it looks like crap. Realme are onto something here, and they've actually put a little bit of magic into their cameras, and they can get some pretty good photos out of night mode. So it's something that you can play around with. Yes, you can take it out to dinner and get selfies with your friends. Yeah, have a look here, some random photos of me out and about on my lunch break, taking photos during good daylight conditions, and I'm getting some good photos. And here's a couple of selfies with a front-facing camera. Good photos. See, it gets you by. For that price, you're getting a great camera, and I think it's right in there with any other phone around that price point. But none of the others have a 6,000 milliamp hour battery attached to it though. So the Realme C12 and that 6,000 milliamp hour battery, again, allow you to do plenty of photography, plenty of multitasking, plenty of day-to-day use. Now the Realme C12 also has what they call simple mode. It's just a stripped down version of the software, and that's just there so it's less intensive on your storage, but also less intensive on the MediaTek G35, enables it to run smoother. You know how some of these apps, they have light mode? Well, this is like the whole software is like light mode. So it's just going to give you a better experience when it comes to using the software. So you also get 3 card slots, 2 for your SIM cards and 1 for your SD card for holding more memory, up to 256 gigabyte. Great inclusion, great for those of you that like to have 2 SIMs in the one phone. Now, what would I suggest they improve for this phone? As I mentioned earlier, micro USB is a bit outdated. They could upgrade that to USB Type-C, and I would say that 32 gigabytes is getting a little bit light these days. Although you can add an SD card, I think 64 gigs should be the base storage. And this is not a Realme criticism. This is a criticism for any low-end phone. But they're my only real criticisms. This phone is amazing for the price. And I'm becoming a real spend less on your phones, because these phones can do a lot for the price. Realme C12 and some of the others, even the Realme 7 Pro is cheap as chips for what it can offer you. So definitely consider the Realme C12. For me, for this category of like $200 to $300 phone, the Realme C12 is up there. It's an 8 or 9 out of 10. And there's a couple of slight improvements that it could make to increase that score. But for me, this is a serious consideration for your money if you're looking at a phone around this price point. That's pretty much it, everyone. I really appreciate everyone who's come here to look at this video. Every view I sincerely appreciate, and if you do like it that much, then hit that subscribe button as well, because that's fantastic for me as well. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next video. Check it!